Freedom in this sense means absence of all restraints which are external, arbitrary and irrational. There is no such rule which prohibits women from roaming around the streets at night. It's not just a freedom from restrictions, but it is freedom to do something worthwhile. Hello and welcome. Today we'll talk about perhaps the most important concept in Western political philosophy, that's liberty or freedom. At a general level, we all know the meaning of freedom or what it means to be free. For us, freedom is the ability to do whatever one wants without any restrictions. Women may feel that freedom is their ability to roam around the streets even during the night time without any fear or restraint. A student may want freedom from the compulsion of studying. A journalist may want the freedom to write and publish whatever he or she wants without any external pressure. Or children may want freedom to eat as much chocolate as they want without getting scolded. So basically, freedom is regarded as absence of restraint and the ability to do whatever one wants. Okay, this definitely is one dimension of freedom. According to this idea, freedom means a free space for individual to think and act according to his or her choice. This idea assumes that individual is a rational being who is capable of thinking what is right and wrong for himself or herself. Therefore, freedom in this sense means absence of all restraints which are external, arbitrary and irrational. These constraints can be posed by family, society, religion, tradition, or even by the state. So in a nutshell, removal of all these constraints would lead to freedom or liberty of the individual. This basically is the negative conception of liberty. Negative because it talks about absence of something, absence of restraints, absence of compulsion, absence of pressure, etc. It assumes that when restraints are absent, freedom will follow automatically. According to this view, in order to maximize the freedom of individuals, the restraints imposed by the state, society, family, culture, religion should be minimum. Especially, the state should not interfere in personal matters of the individual. The individuals should be free to eat and drink whatever they want, buy and sell whatever they want, read, write and express themselves in whichever way they want, work wherever they want, marry whomsoever they want, vote for whomsoever they want, and the list goes on. From this point of view, the state interference is inversely proportional to individual liberty. In simple words, more interference, less liberty. Less interference, more liberty. Okay? At the surface level, it looks fine. But if we go a little deeper, we can see some flaws in negative concept of freedom. What are the flaws? Let's see with the help of some examples. If an educated woman is searching for a job, it is not sufficient to tell her that she is free to work and there is no restraint on her in that regard. In order to actually exercise her freedom, suitable job opportunity should be available for her. The work environment should be safe for her. If she is a new mother, there has to be some provision for taking care of the child when she is away at the job. Without that, her freedom will only be on paper and will be meaningless. Do you get my point? Okay, let's take another example. There is a very poor family which wants to educate their children. There is no external restraint on putting the children in school. But their economic condition is such that they cannot afford to educate them. So just by saying that there is no restraint on them for educating their children does not guarantee them real freedom. Let's take another case. There is no such rule which prohibits women from roaming around the streets at night. So technically, there is no restraint on women's movement at night. But we all know that in some societies, women do not feel safe traveling late at night due to fear. In all these cases, merely absence of restraint does not guarantee freedom. On the contrary, they all can actually exercise freedom only if the social and economic circumstances are favorable to them. There have to be some enabling conditions for exercise of freedom. For example, the educated woman can exercise her freedom to work if suitable jobs and favorable working conditions are available for women. Poor parents can educate their children if affordable or free education is available in their vicinity. Women can exercise their freedom to roam around at night if strict safety measures are in place. And in order to create these circumstances, the state must intervene. The state must create job opportunities or should have economic policies to increase employment. It must provide affordable education to all and must have strict laws in place for women's safety. Then only these freedoms can be actually exercised. This is the positive conception of freedom. Positive freedom is linked to the achievement of some concrete goal, such as personal development or self-realization. This is positive in both senses. One, it talks about the freedom to do something positive, such as freedom to get education, freedom to get employment, freedom to develop one's true potential, etc. It's not just a freedom from restrictions, but it is freedom to do something worthwhile. And second, unlike negative concept of freedom, which requires minimum intervention from the state, positive freedom wants active state intervention to create enabling conditions. It helps individuals to develop their potential. For example, it wants the state to open schools and hospitals which can provide affordable education and healthcare to poor people. It wants the state to intervene in the economy to reduce the gap between the rich and poor. So, this idea of freedom wants positive intervention from the state. It does not look at state intervention as encroachment on individual freedom. Moreover, the positive concept of freedom also justifies some reasonable restrictions on the freedom, so that all can equally enjoy actual freedoms. For example, the state can impose taxes on the rich and use the revenue to create facilities for the poor. This may impose restrictions on the freedom of rich people to gather wealth, but those restrictions are necessary for broadening the scope of freedoms of the poor. Thus, instead of absence of restraints in the idea of negative freedom, positive idea sees freedom as accepting constraints for social cause and allows government to interfere in individual and social affairs. Do you see the difference? Okay. This discussion brings us to one more distinction between freedom and license. License means unrestricted freedom with total disregard for freedom of others. Real freedom, on the other hand, comes with some restrictions so that one's freedom does not cause harm to others. For example, even if an individual has freedom to smoke, he or she cannot be allowed to put the health of others in risk by smoking at public places. So there has to be a ban on smoking at public places. To give you another example, even if everybody has freedom of speech, this freedom has to be exercised within some limits. No one can be allowed to make a hate speech, to defame another person, or incite communal riots with their speech. So basically, liberty of freedom cannot be absolute. It necessarily comes with limits and restrictions. Only thing to watch out for is the restriction should be reasonable and proportionate. So to sum up, we have seen the concept of liberty, the distinction between negative and positive liberty, and the distinction between freedom and license. Negative freedom asks for absence of restraint and minimum social political intervention. It is a narrow concept of freedom, whereas positive freedom is freedom to do something worthwhile. It requires acceptance of restraints and positive government intervention to broaden the scope of freedom for all. This is a broader concept, and in this, freedom always comes with reasonable restrictions, whereas license is unrestricted exercise of one's will and disregard for others' freedom. Hope you understood this distinction clearly. See you in the next episode with an equally interesting political concept, equality. Thank you.